Hey guys, May here, and today I'm filming a kind of like on-the-spot video. I thought of this while I was just filming other videos, because I was talking about random things in K-pop and how that's kind of a recent thing. And I feel like I've made a video like this before, but maybe not exactly. Or if I did, maybe it's a couple years old. I'll have to go look before I edit and publish this video. I wanted to talk about the evolution of random things in K-pop and how much is too much. I might have answered this in a Q&A maybe. So this is like a more in-depth answer for that. How much is too much random stuff? And how much is too many versions? I have changed kind of the way that I've collected albums a couple of times, and it's really to accommodate all the random things that come in albums. I personally like random things in albums to an extent. I think it's way more exciting to get multiple random things. I personally am a really big fan of member versions if they're done correctly, and I'm a big fan of random things if it's not too overdone. You probably saw in the thumbnail of this video that I showed this album because I feel like this is an example. Oh my gosh, there's no CD in here. I'm trading my CD plate for this album for Wano's, and my friend hasn't sent it yet. Yeah, this is an example of what I think is probably too much random stuff in an album. Also, Monsta X are releasing their newest mini album, which is the second part of this trilogy, which made me think about how much random stuff is too much random stuff again. I am happier with that random stuff, to be honest. I'm not happy with the amount of versions that album comes in, but I've already pre-ordered all 4 with EMS, so you know. I think that this album, while it was fun to open it and see all the random stuff, I think this is like a ridiculous amount of random stuff. I think that if you do CD plates, random member photo books that cannot be detached from the album, that's one thing. If you're gonna do a random member photo book, please let it be detachable from the album. Like, don't glue it in. What if I wanted to trade the photo book? I literally can't. Like, I can't. Actually, I had to end up buying a fifth copy of this because I could not find Wano's Decode or a person to trade for Wano's Decode, so I ended up buying another album, and that should be coming in soon. That's fun, but just in time for their comeback. But it is nice when you pull your biases from these kinds of things, because it's like, I think GOT7's 7 for 7 album did this too, where there was like random member lyric booklet. I think that's what it was. I feel like that's excessive. If you're putting something like that cannot be detached, like a photo book or whatever, in the album, it's kind of ridiculous. The only thing I like about the way Monsta X did their random photo books is that you get an OT7 photo book on the other side of the album. So like, let's say you don't pull your bias, but you still get pictures of your bias in the second half of the album. In Infinite's newest album, you get the thanks to for the member that you get the photo book for the member that you get, and the CD plate for the member that you get, which I appreciate the CD plate and the member photo book being the same, and they're really bulky too, so at least this is like pretty small packaging, but Monsta X's new album is box packaging, and I'm just praying that it is not super like thick box packaging. So there was that. So this album came with random CD plate, random photo book. There was you got 2 photo cards. So it was just a set of 30. There were 7 single photo cards for each member between the 2 versions. So there's 14 single member photo cards. Were there group photo cards released? I don't think there were. And then there were a bunch of unit photo cards, which were not evenly distributed between the members. The Wano bias Monbebe, I'm still collecting all of his unit cards because there's literally 13 of them, I think. I think that's the number. Kind of ridiculous, and it wasn't guaranteed that you would pull like a single member's photo card in an album. Like, that was actually kind of rare from what I saw between unboxings and what my friends got and all that stuff. And there were also pre-order like Polaroid kind of looking things, which I thought were cool. And I was like, oh, I definitely want to pre-order the album because I do, but also because then I can get the fun like Polaroid things, which might still come in the albums. I don't know if they do or not, but the annoying thing about that was that there were solo member ones and unit ones from that too. So I think Wano has 4. Yeah, he has 4. He has 3 with Shono and 1 by himself. Content with 2 versions. I think that's pretty much the norm for K-pop these days, and I think that if you do anything more than 2 versions, you're overdoing it. That's just my personal opinion. If you're not doing member versions, if you're doing more than 2 versions, you're overdoing it. I think, as much as I love my 4 copies of Teenage, like, I don't know if there needed to be 4 copies of the album. I think we could have been perfectly happy with 2 copies of the album and 2 copies of the repack, 2 versions. Monsta X's new album, I really like the whole puzzle. Like, you put this together, it makes a different cover thing, but they really overdid it with the Connect. And maybe I will change my mind once I see it, but if they had done something like this kind of again, or maybe made it so that, like, these 2 albums and 2 versions of the Connect, like if there are only 2 versions, made a bigger picture. Like, that would be super cool. I just don't think anybody planned that out in advance. You know, the picture that the 4 Connect albums make, if that had been done with 2 Connect albums and 2 of these, I would have been super happy with that, and that would have really motivated me to buy both versions of the Connect as well, which I bought all 4 of the Connect and no regrets. I just think this time, as far as I know, there's no CD plates, which is... Collecting Wano CD plates is a stressful experience, and I haven't really had a break from it since Shine Forever, so I'm really excited that that's not a thing. CD plates are good if there's only 1 set of CD plates between the albums. If you're going to release 2 albums or 2 versions, the CD plates being the same is really nice. I don't know, it's just annoying when you pull your biases CD plate in one version, but you don't in the other version, but then it's also annoying for things like 17's AL1. I keep using 17, but they're like the kings of thousands of versions of their albums, I feel like. But AL1 had 3 versions, and there's only 1 set of CD plates between the 3 versions, which I appreciated. I pulled S Coopses, but then I'm like, what do I do with the other 2 CD plates? Like, I don't need 2 other S Coopses. So, but then I have 3 second biases, not 2 second biases, so like, who do I trade for? Which I just ended up keeping whoever I got. But things like that are annoying. I also think that JJ Project's Verse 2 album was a little excessive on the random things. There were 2 versions of the album, but there were 4 different photo books, I think. And then there were posters and photo cards and blah, 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 blah. But the thing I like about GOT7, the way that they do their albums, is that they give you multiple photo cards, and Twice does this too. I think it's just a JYP thing, and like Stray Kids did this in their mixtape too, and they'll probably do it in their debut album. They had 2 sets of photo cards, but you get 1 of each. I like pre-order benefits, but the way Monsta X is doing it for their newest album is excessive. Like, I feel like half of the album preview is pre-order benefits, and that shouldn't be a thing. It should be like what they did for the Code, where there was like 1 pre-order benefit, which was a random thing, which is cool. But I think it's like you get a photo card set, and then you get like this random unit card of 30, which I was like, why isn't this just a part of the normal album then? Like, why is it a pre-order thing? I don't know. To kind of reiterate everything I just said, because it was a mess, 2 versions of the album unless you're doing member versions, but if you're doing member versions, include some sort of all group thing. Red Velvet's Rookie, I have Wendy's version, but I have photos of every single member, which I really like. I like that. In this, it may be attached, but I have a photo book of just Wano, and then I have another photo book that has the other 6 members in it as well, because they are ultimates, and I like every single member of Monsta X, so I don't just want, and like same with Infinite. Like, I love every single member of Infinite. I don't want to own 7 albums to have all of the versions. I almost said 8, oh my gosh. I think that if you're having multiple sets of photo cards, it should be like, say there's 3 sets of photo cards in an album, you should get 3 photo cards, and they should be 1 from each set. I think if you're going to do unit cards, evenly distribute them between the members and don't overdo it. Wano stands are struggling always, excessive, and it's fun, and CD plates are fun, but at the end of the day, if you're collecting as many groups as I do, like BTS, because they also release a lot of versions of their albums, up until this album, I feel like it was super easy to collect Seokjin, and now I'm like, well, he has 4 photo cards from this album, but I only bought 2 copies of it because I didn't want to buy more than 2 copies of this album. 3. I think I need 3 of his photo cards still. I'm pretty sure I only have the pizza one. That's a worry for another day. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think is too excessive down in the comment section down below. Also, I've seen like some solo artists have multiple CD plates. Like, what is the point in that? Like, don't do that. But yeah, let me know what you think is too excessive down in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye!